Hey everybody, back with my season 2 wrap up for Once Upon a Time. I feel like this season really took us in a lot of different places that I wasn't expecting. It jumped off right off with the first episode with Emma and Snow getting taken to the Enchanted Forest, where we got to meet some really interesting new characters. I was so happy to see Milan, who was someone that I was wanting to see for a long time and wasn't really expecting to see her at all this early on, but loved her. We got Aurora and Philip. And that whole storyline of them being gone lasted 9 episodes, I think. But I really was expecting it to go the whole season. So when that got fixed, I was like, well, what else are we going to do? But Cora and Hook coming to Storybrooke really, set the table for the rest of the season. And then we had the whole Greg and Tamara situation. I still feel like I need to know more about them and that organization that they're working with, if it even is an organization. It's just like a group of people that really hate magic. So I really feel like I need to know more about that to know how I really feel about Greg and Tamara. I think Greg is interesting in that he has a lot of reason to hate Regina and magic as a whole because of what happened to his dad. But I really want to know more about Tamara. I feel like there's some interesting things we could learn about her, but we'll have to wait to season 3 to see on that one. But really, for the most part, the villain of the season was Cora. And, she's a really good villain. I just hated her so much. But I thought, the show did such a great job of, giving us a little bit of sympathy for her, of what, where she'd been and what she'd gone through. So, I still don't like her, but I thought it was great that they did that. I hate what she did to Regina. Regina backslid a lot, and which was a surprise to me in general, because I just thought Regina was just going to be the main villain of the show. But this season really did open her up as someone who is needing and possibly wanting and potentially going to get redemption. So that's really exciting. Just the fact that she's capable of wanting that and pursuing that was a surprise to me that I was really excited about. So now that Cora was defeated in the season, I really hope she can get back in on that path. With what happened to Henry, hopefully that will be her main focus and she can keep on the up and up. So we'll see. I feel like the big reveal of the season was Neil / Bellfire. Introducing his character was really cool. Seeing just how big of a relationship he had with Emma. I think they played his reveal really well. I had no idea at all that he could have been Bellfire. I just thought he was like this separate thing with Emma, but he was Bellfire. He was in the Enchanted Forest. So the way they wove that storyline together was really cool. We got a new character with Hook. Is he a villain in the vein of Cora, or is he a villain in the vein of Rumpelstiltskin and Regina? Is there redemption there for him? And as far as we've seen, he's not necessarily a super villain. I only kind of think of him as a villain because Hook is a villain in the original text. But so far, really, his motivations are just to, get revenge on Rumpelstiltskin for killing Mila. So he hasn't really done anything, he sided with Cora. He shot Belle, not great. But his motivations are not necessarily, power and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what his path is going forward. Rumpelstiltskin I think he's on the up and up now that he has Belle back. And he thinks Neil's dead, which is not great, but I think that kickstarted him because when he was with Lacey and had that prophecy in his mind about Henry, it was going dark. So I think with him losing Neil again, he's on the right path. We'll see. But in terms of the villains of this season, they're all very gray. And I like that. I like that it's not just they're bad and evil. I like that they've nuance, they have layers. That's really cool. Our heroes were tested, Mary Margaret especially. I don't know if they're going to follow through on the darkened heart situation, but she, I think, is feeling better about everything because she got to save Regina. So it's not as... She was really depressed. And so hopefully that darkened heart thing is not going to keep going. I mean, potentially can. But I don't know. I hate to see Mary Margaret that way. It's just sad. Most improved player, can we give that to David Charming? Last season, I liked Charming just fine, but David was driving me nuts. And he was great this season. Like, he was a really strong prince, doing well for his people, looking out for Mary Margaret, looking out for his family. So, most improved for sure. Emma's thing this season was really just being there more for Henry once she got back, kind of like letting that relationship blossom. She's starting to tap into her magic a little bit. So that's exciting going forward. So yeah, I really like the journey of season 2. Really looking forward to where that got us at the end of it and what we're looking forward to going into season 3. Okay, for my top 5 episodes, once again reiterating, this is not necessarily what I think the best episodes were. These are just the ones that were my favorite, the ones I enjoyed the most. Number 5 is The Crocodile. It was really fun getting to meet Hook for the first time, getting to meet Mila, setting up that whole story, which seems like a really important story going forward because it tied into Rumpelstiltskin. And the fact that he was the crocodile was such a cool thing to do, like, because he's already the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and now he's the crocodile from Peter Pan. Like, that really wove together really well. And that conflict between Rumpelstiltskin and Hook is still very much there. We had the whole Belle situation with her father being terrible, almost made her lose her memories that time. It didn't work that time, but we got to see her relationship blossom with Mr. Gold. He got the library for her. They had their cute little hamburger moment. So yeah, just a really fun episode. Number 4 is Manhattan. Man, that reveal. Still not over it. Neil being Bellfire. Didn't get it, but so surprised, and it was so fun. He got to meet Henry. That whole situation, everyone found out about each other. Really found out about how much of a family they really are. We got the stuff with the seer. What kind of path that led Rumpelstiltskin on. We got to see the true meaning of his cowardice. We had been hearing about how much of a coward he was, and I really was like, he's not, what do they want from him? But he did a cowardly act. He kept himself from going to war, even though he knew he was going to die. So it's cowardly, but understandable. But we found out that everyone found out, and Mila could not ever get over that. So, that was like an important thing that happened and really set the course of a lot of different relationships. And then Mr. Gold became the seer, which became like a really important thing for the Dark One to also be a seer. Like, I'm sure we don't even know all the consequences of that. I'm sure we'll find out more, but seeing that prophecy of who was going to lead him to find his son was going to be his undoing, like, that's huge going forward. We got to know why Neil left Emma, what August told him, basically, that he knew who he was. So just a lot of reveals in that episode, and it was fun to see them all in New York, and just very good. Just a really, really good episode. Number 3, I have The Miller's Daughter. I'm shocked as anyone that a Cora episode would be in my top, but it was really good. Like, getting to see her backstory really gave her depth. She wasn't just this evil person for no good reason. She was evil, but she had a past. There were reasons, and the way they tied that in with Snow's mom, like that conflict that those two families has just been there for a long time. And got to see her relationship with Rumpelstiltskin. Was really thinking that was Regina's dad, but no. But they were in love. And we got to see when she originally took her heart out, and that really made her who she was. She, always seemed to want to climb the ladder, the social ladder, and by that means the power level. Like, she was really after power, but that just amplified when she lost her heart. And the ending with her getting her heart back and realizing that she should have just kept it and just loved her daughter. That was really powerful. I really liked that. Mr. Gold was on his deathbed, and he was like kind of coming to understand some things about his life and the people in his life. Just really, really good. I was so shocked by that episode. Just, I still think Cora's an evil villain and she's the worst, but man, do I like her as a character so much more now. Yes. It was also the episode that, Snow made her choice. She chose the darker choice. Mary Margaret chose to kill Cora. And it maybe didn't have to go down that way. We see what happened when Regina just gave her heart back to her. It could have de-escalated from there, but she chose to do that curse and saved Mr. Gold. So yeah, that was a big deal. And I wonder if we're even still done with those consequences. So yeah, really, really big episode. My number 2 is Tallahassee. I really enjoyed seeing young Emma and her relationship with Neil. They were, two young dumb kids on the run, doing what they thought they needed to do. That episode really did a lot for Emma to see where she has been, why she's so afraid of love and affection, because she was burned by Neil. It wasn't as nefarious as she thought it was. He had a reason for doing it, but that abandonment that she's always had just grew with that. So it was great to see, not that it happened to her, but just to understand her more, of just why she's so afraid of being left, because she's been left time and time again. That really tied in well to the other plot of the episode with them going on the beanstalk, Hook and Emma trying to get the bean. We met Tiny for the first time. I love Tiny. Jorge Garcia is the best. I love him. But you see that Emma didn't trust Hook and she double-crossed him. Poor Hook. The season of double cross for him. We got to see more of the Henry Dream situation, that going to that red room, which ended up being a big deal, that they could communicate to each other between worlds. So yeah, that episode just layered together really well, and I just had a really good time with it. And my number 1 is the finale in Straight On Till Morning. Such a good episode. The episode of redemption, which you all know I'm here for. And we really got it in spades, with Regina doing the ultimate sacrifice, willing to give up her life to save everyone, to be known as one good final deed. Huge moment for her. We had Hook ultimately coming through, doing the right thing, coming back, helping them out, helping them save Henry. He took the bean, wanted to do the selfish thing, but had a change of heart. We got to see his relationship with Bellfire. That is really the thing that called on him to do the right thing for Henry, because he cared for Bellfire. which is wild because that was technically kind of his stepson because he was with Mila. So that was cool. Then we had Mr. Gold deciding to do the right thing, not caring about the prophecy, knowing that he needs to save Henry because he's his grandson. So wonderful. So love all of that. Belle, finally back to being Belle. Lacey was terrible. And that moment with her and Mr. Gold was wonderful. Loved it so much. Regina and Emma using their magic together saved the town. So great. We got to find out Neil wasn't dead. Of course he was not dead. He's in the Enchanted Forest. Brought back our characters, Mulan, Aurora, and Philip. So we know they're back in play. So great. We've got this whole situation with Neverland, which is definitely going to be the main thing of next season. Peter Pan has been looking for Henry for a while. Now Greg and Tamara have taken him to him. What's that about? Why would Greg and Tamara do that? Just so good. Really wrapped up the season well. Man, that was such a good finale. Okay, that's my top 5 episodes. Let me know what y'all's are. I'm sure they're different, but let me know. Okay, next up is my Q&A. From Patreon, I've got Miguelito asked, what are my predictions for season 3? You'll see that in my prediction part, but also what do you hope to see in season 3? Any characters you think we might see or hope that we might see? I mean, my main hope is that they rescue Henry. He's separated from everyone. I'm so nervous about that. Like, what's Peter Pan's deal? What's going on there? That is like literally all I care about is that they get Henry back. So my hope is that he is safe quickly because he is very unsafe at this point in time. New characters, I hope they do something with a Little Mermaid. You know, I thought maybe they were going to go there when they were talking about the squid ink or whatever. A mermaid was mentioned. But it'd be cool to see how they handle that with the whole mermaid fin situation. Are they going to like CGI that or use like a bodysuit? I mean, I'm sure we'll see her at some point because she's a huge Disney princess. But that would be one I'd want to see. Okay, and next up on Patreon, Heidi asked me, what are my overall impressions of Captain Hook and the actor who plays him, Colin O'Donoghue? The actor is really cute. He's very charismatic. I really don't know what to think of Hook right now. I want to like him and then he'll do something that I don't like. Like I said, I don't necessarily think he's like this super villain. I think we got to see the last episode really did a lot for me in terms of Hook. I like what happened with him in Bellfire. I like that he came back to help them with Henry. That gave him a lot of points with me. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him. Are they going to keep him being like self-serving or is he going to start being like a good guy? Because let's face it, I like good guys. I'm not into bad boys, to be honest. That's not really my bag. But if he's on the up and up and if he's trying to do good, like I'd be more into him. I would have to say I want to see more. Like I need to know more about him to really form a solid opinion on him. Okay, now for my YouTubers. Ryuga Law asked if I could name some plot holes. There's not really any that stick out to me. I'm not, looking for them. I feel like if I do, it would make me enjoy the show less. So nothing major. Like I have some questions about things, but nothing didn't not make sense to me. Okay, next up is Muriel Leger. Don't know about that pronunciation. But they asked, so far, who is your favorite character or your favorite character arc and why? My favorite character, hands down, is Henry. Like, it's Henry and then everyone else. But I like pretty much everybody. There's no one I hate. Like, I hated Cora, but she's dead now. So, I really like everyone. But Henry is my favorite character. The arc that I'm enjoying the most is Probably Regina, to be honest. Like, it's fascinating what they've done with her this season. I really didn't like her in season one. I was like, she's a villain through and through. But she really grew, and she had some missteps, and I blame the show more than I blame her. I was like, God, these characters are like, just talk and it would be better. But she's interesting. I just wonder how far they're gonna, like, is she gonna go? Like, she sacrificed herself basically at the end there. What else? What else could that, like, she's got a lot to do. The massacre of the village was terrible and very, very unforgivable. So she's got a long way to go, but I love to see that journey. I want to see her try to get as redeemed as she possibly can. Next up, the girly nerd asks, which storylines and backstories did you enjoy most in season 2? Storylines, Neil. I really like Neil. What a fun character. Really tied into the show. I think the actor guy is a lot of fun. I like his whole vibe. And just to see how much of an important character he turned out to be, of someone that I didn't really, Bellfire was a kid that he's no Henry, but he was fine. But have him like grow up to be Neil, and just seeing how that tied into Emma, and so cool. That's such a cool thing to do. He's like one of my favorite characters going forward. And yeah, his backstory similarly, like seeing how that tied into Hook, and he must have been in Neverland for a while. So I really just hope to see more with Neil / Bellfire. Which storyline was my least favorite? Cora coming to town, not just because, she's the villain and I don't like the villain, but she really screwed up Regina for a bit there. We were making such progress, and her backsliding just so easily with Cora. Like, it was so obvious that Cora was only about power, and Regina just could not see past that just being her mother, even though she's been terrible her whole life. I did not enjoy that. Did anything frustrate me or amaze me? The frustrating thing was Regina. And the things that amazed me were definitely the finale. I cannot believe that how they set that up with Neil being in the Enchanted Forest, them going to Neverland. We've still got Storybrooke to deal with. All of those things happening at once and still like working. It was really amazing. What character development do I hope to see for the main characters? Emma, Snow, Charming, Hook, Rumple, and Regina. Just everyone trying to do good. That's all it takes for me. I know that can like be boring to people or whatever. Like, oh, you have no edge. You're just trying to be like good. But the struggle to be good is really fascinating, and it's not as easy as it sounds. So just, Emma and Snow and Charming, that's kind of like their driving force always. But like Hook, Rumple, and Regina, that struggle for them is really fun to watch. And seeing Snow deal with the pull to the dark side with the darkening heart, that's fascinating too. That good and evil struggle is just always my favorite thing about stories. What is something that would really intrigue you if it were to happen on the show? If there was a same-sex couple, honestly, especially because it's Disney and they try to be family friendly, acting like that's not something that's family friendly. Like, same-sex loving couples are very family friendly. So I would love to see that. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but especially with, these fairy tale characters, but they had a gender bent Jack. You can play with the form. They don't have to be so rigid about their origins. Like, mix it up. Have a gay character. Please, that would be cool. I'd be into it. Okay, next up is Kimberly Richards. She asked, how did I feel about this past season in comparison to season 1? I feel like I'm too close to it to say whether or not I liked one or two better. I would say where they're comparable. They're right there. I like them both. I feel like one was more stable or solid, whereas 2 was kind of up and down. There were some things I didn't like, but there's some things I really liked. So yeah, I don't know if I could really say I liked one or the other better, but they were enjoyable. They were both good. Next up, Stolen Comment asked if I will react to season 1 and 2 bloopers. I didn't do season 1. I feel like it would be unstructured if I did them now. I'll probably just do them all at the end when I'm done. Just react to like the bloopers in one big video. Next up is Melissa Waterman. She asked, are there any glaring plot holes you notice in this season? If so, how do you think they impact the overall story? Like I said, plot holes, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. If there's some glaring ones that I missed, you can tell me, but I'm satisfied with how it went. I'm not worried about anything that I can't figure out or put together, so no. Okay, last up is Lingua Junkie. She asked, what do you think about Hook's character and what's your favorite new character of season 2? Like I said before, I need to know more about Hook to pass judgment. I think he's interesting. I think he's someone potentially that could be really fascinating. I just need to know more about what his arc is. Really, all right now I know is that he loved Mila and he hates Rumple. I need more. But I think we'll get there, so I'm reserving judgment. My favorite new character of season 2 is probably Neil. I think he's really fun. Seems like a good guy. Hate that what happened to Tamara happened. And hopefully he'll be okay in the Enchanted Forest. I like that he's there with characters I really like, so I'm excited that storyline can continue in the Enchanted Forest and maybe get some other characters that are still there. So last up, we have predictions last season. Let's go through and see what I got right, what I got wrong. First one was that either Regina or Rumpelstiltskin would have some redemption. I got that right. Not full redemption. They're not fully redeemed, but they both made strides. Had some setbacks, but specifically the season finale, they both went for redeeming acts. So yes. And that wasn't just an easy yes, because I really did not expect it from Regina, to be honest. So I got that one right. I said that Emma would get a love interest. I guess I could say I got that half right, because we did see her with Neil and that was a love interest, but that was kind of in the past. She didn't get a current one, so kind of wrong. But I'm actually fine with that. She doesn't need to be with a guy. She's a strong character in her own right. But half right. We'll say half right on that one. 3, I said we would get new characters. And while we did, the one that I guessed was Jasmine. And we did not get Jasmine. And my last one was that Henry would be safe. And he pretty much was, except for when he was getting hurt in the Red Room. But that was he pretty much dodged that. But at the very end, he got captured. So that one's a big fat no. For season 3, I'm going to predict that Regina gets a love interest. It's pretty done with the Daniel situation. He came back as a zombie, but she had to fully kill him. So I think she can move on from that. And it would be nice for her to find a different avenue to put her efforts into. So I think going for season 3, it would be nice for her to find someone to fully get over the Daniel situation. And it would make her happier as a person, maybe. So Regina gets a love interest, we're going to say. Number 2, I'm going to predict that the Peter Pan situation is not what it seems. I just don't see them going evil Peter Pan. They might, but I think it's probably like a controlling shadow thing going on, or he's like captured or something, or something. I just don't see them doing evil Peter Pan. So I'm going to predict that that situation is not what it seems. Peter Pan is actually who we think of him as. But we'll see. But that's my prediction. Number 3, I'm going to predict some new characters. Well, I predicted Jasmine and that was wrong. So I'm going to add that on. I'm going to predict that we'll see Jasmine in season 3. I'm going to predict Ariel. I'm going to predict Quasimodo. Oh, and maybe like Cruella de Vil. So, see if I get any of those. Okay, and for my fourth prediction, I'm going to say that by the end of the season, everyone ends up in the Enchanted Forest. I thought that was going to happen at the end of this season, and things went way not that way. But, and it's possible Storybrooke might just be around the whole show. But as a prediction, I'm going to say everyone ends up in the Enchanted Forest by the end of the season. Okay, so that's it. That is my wrap up for season 2. So excited for season 3. I've heard a lot of good things from you guys. I want to thank you all for your support, for your comments. Really supportive community. So thank you so much. Really excited for what's next. So until next time, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.